Welcome to Roll, Ponder, and Play, a podcast dedicated to crafting stories through the application of role-playing game engines, combined with creative thinking and propelled into the ether by the barest of prompts. I'm Jared Hess, taking on all the roles of Game Master, Solo Player, Author, and Narrator. Come with me on a journey, and together let us explore realms of shadow, danger, and wonder. One role can decide the fate of many things. Welcome to the prologue of the Flight of the Oracle podcast on Roll, Ponder, and Play. I'm Jared Hess, your friendly neighborhood game master, solo player, author, and narrator. In our previous episode, our session 0 if you will, we discussed the sci-fi setting for this podcast series, the OneDice RPG we will be using for conflict resolution, and we met Ardelle Leath, our main character and protagonist, a young junior officer in the Alliance Space Navy. We also learned about the UASN Oracle, a converted warrior-class destroyer turned into a survey vessel. It is the ship that this podcast series is named after. And now, the prologue for Flight of the Oracle. Prologue. Ardelle felt the violent expulsion of breath from her lungs as a knee slammed into her midsection. She doubled over, gasping, nearly falling. She tried to rise, to bring her hands up to face her opponent, to defend herself. She couldn't seem to get enough air, and a roundhouse kick smashed into her head and slammed her down onto the training mat. Her opponent, another slightly older woman, one of the Navy's hand-to-hand combat trainers, danced away. Stars shimmered in front of Ardelle's vision, and she weakly pushed at the protective padded helmet she wore. Not that it did that much good. She groaned and writhed in pain, touched her head. Her hand came away wet and warm, and the iron tang of her own blood assaulted her senses. What was she thinking, she asked herself for the umpteenth time. Joining the military? Are you going to just take that, recruit? Get up. No? Well, if you're just gonna lie there, you must be a quitter. She felt the hot breath of Sergeant Hicks, her drill sergeant, scream into her ear. Her eardrums ached from the abuse. But if anything, his voice seemed to get louder. What a disgrace. You've been here 2 months, and you still can't seem to get the basics of what we're about into that pretty little skull of yours. I bet you want to go home to your mommy. Is that it? The man was so infuriatingly relentless. Ardelle groaned and rolled over onto her back and saw the interior bulkheads of the orbital training station above her. Out of one camera-generated viewport, she saw a blurry image of Earth as it spiraled blue and white on its axis far below them. Bleary-eyed, she tried to focus on her drill sergeant who knelt over her. He was still shouting, an imposing, unfocused shadow. Are you a quitter? She blinked against the sweat and the blood that ran into her eyes and slowly shook her head. Hell, it looks that way to me. Everyone else in your class has long since graduated to fulfill their oath of service to the Alliance Navy, and you, the so-called niece of the great Spencer Leath. What a damn disgrace to that name. If he could only see you now writhing like a worm on the sidewalk. Sergeant Hicks stood up, hands on his hips, as he shook his head sadly. But if you want out, just say the word, recruit, and you're out. No more early morning roll calls, no more PT, no more latrine duty. Oh, and I know you love that latrine duty. The man had the gall to grin down at her. In short, no more pain, recruit. Just say the word, and you can go back to your cushy life. Back to your parties, back to your mansion, back to your boyfriends, back to your life, if you can call it that. But the real secret is that life is found in giving all you've got for a noble cause. But I don't think you understand that. I don't think you believe me. Doesn't matter anyway, I'm just talking to a quitter, ain't I? His voice droned on and seemed to mingle with the hum of ventilation that pushed the sweat-laden recycled atmo through its system. Honestly, she did want out. She wanted to succumb to the warm, angry tears that demanded that they spill forth against the injustice of it all. Didn't they know who she was? Couldn't they see how much better she was? Then she stabbed that thought away, beat it back into the dark recesses of her mind. That was the point. They did know who she was. Everyone did, including herself, and she wanted to permanently erase that version of herself. She didn't want to go back to that life. To a life of ease and dead luxury. Didn't want to go backward. Especially not after Jennifer, after Jen had... Ardelle swallowed as the dark memory of her friend rose up to the fore, unbidden once more in front of her eyes. Jennifer, so full of life, the one who had gone mountain climbing with her in the Himalayas, skydiving 50 times with her, the one who had helped her steal the access codes so that they could go on a joyride to the moon and back in Dad's private yacht, the one who told her which boys to dump, the one who had set her up with Justin, Ardelle's current flame. Now Jen lay across Ardelle's own bed, face gray, a green translucent bottle of pills completely empty, held loosely in her lifeless hands. Jen had said she was only going to have 2. But her friend had always been a thrill junkie. The hot pink and red neon party lights pulsed to the music, ludicrous in their mockery of the dead. Jen's vacant eyes seemed to scream upward in soulless hopelessness. The ceiling fan blades overhead beat back her silent cry with overdose, overdose, overdose at each rotation. Dead, dead, dead. The blaring, percussive, throbbing beats of the music slammed into Ardelle's brain. She put her hands to her head, fell to her knees, and screamed her pain in tandem to the brash vocals. She blinked away the memory, and the sweat, and the blood, and finally saw clearly. "Jen," she croaked, in an inaudible whisper. "It'd be so much easier for both of us if you just quit now, recruit. Just say the word and all of this stop. The pain goes away and you're back in La La Land, sipping champagne and margaritas, not sucking mud with the rest of us grunts." She knew who she didn't want to be. She would not go back. She would not let Jennifer's death be in vain. And she would make Uncle Spencer proud. She coughed and tried to speak again. "Ready to speak now, eh? Good, and please, for the love of all that is holy, tell me you're going to quit, and we can both go back to our respective abodes, and I can enjoy a nice, long, hot... There's no mud in space, Sergeant." A gleam of humor sparkled in his eyes. "Ho, ho, ho! So, I'm gonna have to work late again, I see. Maybe I should have you call the missus and tell her I'll be missing dinner because of more babysitting. Damn, I guess you got some of that old Spencer Leath spunk buried deep down inside after all. Well then, up on your feet, recruit. Let's see if we can make a crewman out of you yet. Now drop a gimme 50 and then 20 more laps. Go, go, go!" She felt the sting of his baton on her backside and leapt to obey. She owed a lot to people like Sergeant Hicks. He had seen something in her she never could, and had pulled it out of her all the while with her biting and screaming like a 2-year-old. But now she had been broken and reforged. She was different now, wasn't she? Ancestors, but she hoped she was. She needed to be better, It seemed like a lifetime ago when she was in basic, but now, after graduating top of her class from the Officer Candidate School, she had been posted aboard the heavy cruiser Brazen, nominally on defense patrols within the Sol system, but really it was just an excuse to visit the different planets within the system and do rather mundane theoretical materials research. Ensign? Ardelle blinked and held her salute. She stood inside Major Kelly's small stateroom on board the Brazen. A view screen in the stateroom showed what Brazen's external cameras saw. The camera feeds rotated through views of space outside, and she caught glimpses of the armored hull, and beyond the ice-strewn rings of Saturn glinting in the sun. "I said at ease, Ensign," the older woman with gray and her short-cropped hair said. Right. Sorry, ma'am," Ardelle said, and settled into a somewhat less rigid pose, her feet shoulder-width apart, her hands clasped behind her back. Major Kelly pulled open a drawer on a small compact desk and pulled out an envelope. "Here you are, Ensign," Major Kelly said, and passed her a sealed envelope. "This is for you." Ensign Ardelle Leath raised an eyebrow. "Paper? Isn't that a security risk?" She took the envelope. Her heart skipped a beat when she saw the insignia of the Special Science Division of the United Alliance Space Navy. "An electronic copy has already been sent to your military account as well. The envelope is tamper-proof, and its contents will be destroyed by the envelope itself if anyone without your biometrics attempts to open it. If it helps, you could say that you received this paper copy because the government specializes in redundancies." "When you say redundancies, are you sure you don't mean inefficiencies?" A small smile toyed at the edges of Major Kelly's mouth. "Oh, I can assure you that they are quite specialized in inefficiencies as well. But in this case, I think you'll be glad for the extra attempt to reach you, and to have something tangible to hold on to. Go ahead and open it." Elwyn rubbed her thumb over the seal, and the adhesive dissolved. She pulled out the orders and quickly scanned them and read aloud in a low voice. "Effective immediately, you are hereby transferred on board the UASN Oracle, where you will serve as a watchstander of the science station under Lieutenant Morgan, the standing science officer." She broke off reading and looked up, her mouth slightly parted, a smile growing. Grinning now, she resumed reading. "You will report at your earliest opportunity to Captain Alistranda aboard the Oracle in low Earth orbit, where you will receive specific orders and assignments." She skimmed the lines to the end. "You are expected to uphold the highest standards and ideals of the United Alliance Space Navy." "Let me be the first to congratulate you, Ensign," Major Kelly said, standing and holding out her hand. The older woman's own smile remained respectful, but reserved. "You'll be part of an historic mission to expand known regions of space for the good of all humanity." Ardelle gripped the other woman's hand. "Thank you, ma'am. I don't know what to say, but..." "Ensign, I know your crucial work here in theoretical materials hasn't been the most glamorous of jobs." Their hands parted, and the other woman sighed. "You've done your job well, and I hope you know it's appreciated. I hope you give your next commanding officer the same respect and attentiveness you gave to me." "Thank you, ma'am." "I will, ma'am." "Good." Major Kelly's eyes flicked to the on-ship chronometer. "Now get going, Ensign. You have a shuttle to catch." Hello friends, just a small postscript here before the outro. This new Flight of the Oracle podcast series is currently a Patreon-only series for my paid subscribers. But if you're interested in supporting this new podcast series, or Roll Ponder and Play in general, I invite you to consider joining my Patreon at patreon.com/rollponderandplay. You can do so for free and get access to the next couple of episodes in this series. If you like what you hear and decide to join as a paid subscriber, the entire series as well as other paid tier content becomes available to you on patreon.com/rolepondandplay. Thank you for joining us, and I sincerely hope you enjoyed what you experienced. If you would like to support Roll, Ponder, and Play, you can do so by joining my Patreon at patreon.com/rolepondandplay. There you can also find transcripts, show notes, and other projects I'm involved in. If you would like to reach out to me, you can find me on Patreon or on Discord at Roll, Ponder, and Play, or by email at rollponderandplay@gmail.com. Until we meet again, may your own dice rolls ever bring you success.